Jewish state. Stand up. You'll be accused of anti-Semitism. It's Zionism. Stand up. Do what you can. Don't be intimidated, and you will be in the annals of history as the true hero. God will help. We will see a free Palestine.
Yes, Salam. Thank you, Rabbi. I'm going to reignite the moment because you talked about Aaron's sentiment. In Aaron's own words, as we see on these banners. Aaron Bushnell said, "I'm an active duty member of the United States Air Force and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I am about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what the people of Palestine have been experiencing at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
And with that, he gave his life. Now, somebody who's given her entire life over to peaceful causes and anti-war causes, more credits than we can name here in this period. So I will just let you know that she is the president of the board of the beloved World Without War. Thank you very much. Kathy Kelly, please take the mic. World Beyond War. David.
Rabbi Weiss, thank you for your words for decrying the horrid U.S. provision genocide afflicting our brothers and sisters, the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. You know, when Aaron Bushnell made his profound sacrifice, he was 25 years old. And I'd like us to think about two young Germans who were close to Aaron in age, Hans and Sophie Scholl. They were brother and sister. And those two so courageously distributed flyers all throughout their university systems. And the flyers said, "We will not be silent." And they criticized and denounced the Nazi atrocities. And I would actually imagine that people working in the Israeli consulate today would know the names of Hans and Sophie Scholl. But what are we to say about the 260 Palestinian press people, many of them in their 20s? They were hunted down by snipers, bombed in their press tents, slaughtered, because the genocidal government of Israel, provisioned by U.S. weapons, doesn't want anyone to report on atrocities. What are we to say about the healthcare workers slaughtered, imprisoned, named Dr. Hassan al-Basafia now begins his 15th month in prison, held without charge. Aaron Bushnell heard those voices. We must hear his voice. Right. And we must allow ourselves, my friends, every day to reckon with the reality that we cannot be silent. Thank you very much for your presence here today. Let's make that pledge to one another. We will not be silent. Thank you. Woo!
Yeah!
Thank you, Kathy Kelly, globally renowned activist for peace. Now we have a couple of congressional candidates. Our candidates for Congress are also in ways setting themselves ablaze. Let's have Bushra Amiwala come up and talk a little bit about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be on upon all of you. Many of us like to ask ourselves, what would I do if I was alive during slavery? What would I do if my country was committing genocide? The answer is you are doing it right now. Aaron Bushnell was a hero, but he did not see himself that way. He held himself to the highest moral standard and took it upon himself to shield innocent people from the terrors of war, which is why he joined the United States Air Force, to protect civilians from violence. Aaron was disillusioned. Our military failed his ideals. Aaron saw 2 million people facing famine. He saw an entire city bombed out of existence, and he saw 20,000 children die. And he saw that his military was supporting it. Our military was supporting it. Shame. Yeah. Shame. We're supposed to be for peace. We are supposed to prevent suffering, not cause it, but us, the American people, send $4 billion to Israel every year because we are told it will make the world safer. Aaron saw through that propaganda. He knew that opening fire on civilians, bombing population centers, and blocking aid to starving people does not make the world safer. Aaron knew better, and he gave his life to make sure we knew it too. No one should have had to sacrifice themselves the way Aaron did just for the world to pay attention. Aaron used his final moments to declare that he would no longer be complicit, and what if we did the same? Not by fire, but by protest. We still live in a democracy, and no one is exempt from that responsibility. No American can claim ignorance, not now when our own country and our own money is bankrolling genocide. We are not powerless. We can call our representatives. We can show up in the streets. We can vote our complicit leaders out of office. And that's how every single one of us can honor Aaron's legacy, because that's how we ensure Aaron Bushnell did not die in vain. I hope you won't spend today mourning. I hope you won't spend today grieving in silence. Instead, I hope you'll take this opportunity, this day, to call out injustice when no one else will. And I believe that's what Aaron Bushnell would have wanted. Thank you all.
Rousvich? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Thank you, Bushra. I've watched her political ascent since she was so young. You wouldn't think she was able to run for public office, and she's been a servant ever since, and a successful one. Another congressional candidate, this is for the 6th District of Illinois, Joey Rousvich. Will you say a word, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Joey Rousvich. I am running for Congress in the 6th District of Illinois. I am honored to be with all of you today to remember the life, the bravery, and the sacrifice of Aaron Bushnell. Today is my 29th birthday. I am here today running for Congress because of Aaron. This district that I am running for contains the largest number of Palestinian Americans than any other congressional district in the entire United States. In November of 2023, I joined tens of thousands of Chicagoans as we marched down Michigan Avenue demanding our elected representatives do something about the collective punishment being inflicted on the Palestinian people. It is often said that a shared joy is a double joy and a shared pain is a half pain. But even as millions of people around the world shared in the agony, it took none of the pain away from the Palestinians. We were on the streets begging the world to pay attention. We were begging our elected representatives to use their power to end the suffering of innocent human beings, inflicted with our American weapons and our American tax dollars. They did not listen. They ignored us. My representative, Sean Casten, ignored his Palestinian constituents. I felt like I was trying but making no progress. I was disillusioned, helpless to be able to help in any meaningful way. The same feeling I'm sure many of you have also felt and continue to feel. And then, on my 27th birthday, I witnessed what the author Caitlin Johnstone aptly called a profound act of sincerity. This is a quote from her piece titled Just That. He didn't back down. He didn't go home and stuff his face with snacks and gossip in the group chats and see what types of mindless escapism was available on Netflix or Pornhub. He lit the flame. He even struggled to light it at first, but he still did. There is nothing in our society that can prepare us for that kind of sincerity, that kind of selflessness, that kind of purity of intention. It stops us dead in our tracks as if the fabric of our world has been ripped asunder, and in a way it has. People constantly tell me it takes courage to run for Congress. No, it does not. It does not take an ounce of courage to seek elected office. It takes courage for a Palestinian child to stare down a tank and throw a rock at it. It takes courage for American doctors to go to Gaza knowing that if Israel kills you, your own government will do nothing in response. It takes courage to stand in front of a bulldozer, as Rachel Corrie did, and refuse to move as it attempts to destroy a Palestinian home in the West Bank. It takes courage to stand in front of the Israeli consulate, pour gasoline over your head, and light yourself on fire as you scream, "Free Palestine," until you take your last breath. That is courageous. Hearing the news of Aaron's profound, painful sacrifice of self-immolation in front of the Israeli consulate forced me to look in the mirror and ask, what am I willing to sacrifice? How much am I willing to give up to try to stop the suffering of a group of people I have no familial or geographic connection to? I realized that if I claimed to care, if I really cared, I needed to do more than just join government-approved protests. If I really cared, if I really wanted the slaughter and starvation to stop, I needed to do more than post on social media. If my elected officials were not going to listen to my pleas or the pleas of the Palestinian Americans living in the district, then I needed to seek a position of power myself. I needed to run for office to remove them from power. My sacrifice is a single grain of sand on a miles-long coastline compared to the sacrifice of others, compared to the sacrifice of Rachel Corrie, compared to the sacrifice of Aaron Bushnell, compared to the sacrifice of the Palestinians, the Iraqis, the Afghanis, the Vietnamese, the Syrians, the Yemenis, the Libyans, and everyone who has been sacrificed by the United States military. There are only two ways to change our current system of government: a violent revolution or a peaceful democratic one. I choose the peaceful method, but I also know it requires convincing others to help me accomplish this. The only way to have a peaceful democratic revolution is to help remove the genocidal supporting elected officials by helping anti-war candidates across the country get elected. If you want the genocide to stop, I am asking you to sacrifice. Sacrifice. Sleeping in on the weekends to spend 2 hours knocking doors to talk to voters. Sacrifice watching reality TV or sports games during the week to call voters or write postcards to voters. Sacrifice your comfort to talk to family and friends about a candidate for office and then go to the polls with them to cast a ballot. If you do not sacrifice some amount of your life for the pursuit of a better world, then you will instead have your life sacrificed for you. The ownership class will sacrifice your finances as they continue to extract more and more wealth from the middle class. The U.S. military will sacrifice your brothers, your cousins, and your sons for cheaper oil. Your elected representatives will sacrifice any version of a better future for you, your children, or your grandchildren. People tell me not to center Palestine in my run for Congress. Joey, you have to focus on the economy, on healthcare, on women's rights, on gun control, focus on the assaults on our democracy. In the words of the great Ta-Nehisi Coates, if you can't draw the line at genocide, why can I expect you to draw the line at democracy?
Thank you.
Rest in peace, Aaron Bushnell.
Thank you, Joey. Not an easy line. Anybody who didn't get the the memo about how this is going to look. I was raised Catholic, so there's a lot of holy water. Timmy Papas. Timmy comes from a Greek family, and my family comes from Greek Orthodox Palestinians, the original witness of organized religion in the Holy Land. So I think Timmy and I are maybe related in some way. Timmy Papas.
I'm sorry, I don't have a lot to say. I'm a mom. I am awfully affected by what that boy did. When it happened, I immediately thought of the young man, and I didn't remember the name of the country, but I remembered his name, and I imagine I'll never forget his name. It was Mohammed Bouazizi, and I put it into the thing in the computer, and yeah, I was right. That was in 2010. God, how time flies. And nothing has changed. So, what I want us to do, what I hope everybody will do, is remember these things and think about why these boys did what they did. They're the heroes. They will be remembered. They're crappy governments. Their crappy governments will be forgotten. They mean nothing. They come and they go. But those boys really stood for something, and I'm appalled that we still have these things going on. I've been, some of you know me, supporting the Palestine cause is, I don't know, 30, 40 years. And I joined the Green Party because I realized that that's the only one that is serious about doing something, changing things. And so,
About stopping genocide.
believe it or not, at my age, I am running for treasurer of the state of Illinois against that awful man. So if you can help us with our petition, you know, we need to collect 50,000 signatures to be safe from the Democrats' challenges. So if anybody here can help us with those, I would appreciate it very much. We all would. And that's why we're doing all this. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Timmy. Efkaristo. Barakalo. Okay, I'm going to switch hats now because I'm also Latina. So we have Cookie Ramirez, Latinos por Palestina. Is Cookie here? There he is. Bienvenidos.
Thank you for inviting me. I represent El Pueblo Manda, the people's rule. We have been fighting for our community against gentrification, and we felt very sorry when we heard about this young man who set himself on fire. Gentrification has been happening in this country. Native Americans have lost their lands to white settlers, and basically we just wanted to be here to our support for the Palestinian cause. I'm sorry, this is all I have to say. Thank you.
Awesome, Cookie. And we're also grateful that's all he had to say, because he said some very important things in a short way, because we have a good long program yet to complete. And I wanted to make a land acknowledgement as a follow-on to what Cookie just said. We're gathered today in land stolen from the traditional homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Adawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations. With that, I'd like to welcome the Reverend Dr. Beth Johnson, Unitarian Universalist minister. Welcome.
You can say the Universalists first. Okay. Because the Universalists were all about love. And that's what we're here for. I'm also with UUs for Justice for Palestine, and the Unitarian Universalists, Justice for Middle East. I am known when I pray for inviting people to take a breath. And so that's what I'm going to do, is just to invite you to take a breath with me. as we center ourselves in the solemnity of this day and in the passion of this day, knowing that the breath connects us to everything that ever was. It connects us to one another, and it connects us to all that will come. We breathe in the breath, the last breath that Aaron Bushnell took. His sacrifice lives in us. When Aaron Bushnell made his sacrifice, people decried it as he was mentally ill. They said it's going to start copycats. And what we know is that act of self-immolation is a long-standing political sacrifice. Hundreds into that. We don't quite remember the 21-year-old woman who self-immolated for Palestine in December, the year before, just before Aaron did. We don't decry what he did because we know that he made a sacrifice that many of us, all of us maybe, would not be able or willing to make, but we honor the sacrifice that he made and we remember it, because in remembering it, we will not let his sacrifice go unnoticed, unrecalled, and we will not allow our government to continue to fund this immoral war, genocide in a rogue state. So I invite you to just take a breath with me and pray with me. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Holy One that moves in, through, and among us in this cold breeze, in the olive fields of Palestine, in all of our lives, we pause in each moment with every breath that we have to use our breath to speak for justice and mercy and love and peace for Palestine and all. Let us never ever forget. We say his name, Aaron Bushnell. Say his name. We say his name, and when he is remembered, beloved, remember to let people know why he did what he did. That he was not a mentally ill person. He was a person willing to sacrifice. May it be so.
Thank you, Pastor. I'm going to let you know who's coming up so that you stick with us. It's almost the end, and we would like to make sure that we don't miss Tahara, who's going to end with a prayer and a thought. We also have the community activist and former political prisoner, Chris Fogarty, from Ireland. And we also have Stan Smith. Is Stan here? Stan's not going to make it. Okay, so then without further ado, yeah, right, I've got it. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the Chicago Anti-War Coalition activist and national treasure, Neil Resnikoff. Welcome.
Great to be with all of you today. Aaron Bushnell is an important example of people in the U.S. military who have thought about what they're doing and decided the U.S. military actions are criminal and inhumane, and that they should not cooperate. There are many other examples. Hugh Thompson, a U.S. Army helicopter pilot, saw the My Lai massacre, innocent people in Vietnam being slaughtered, and he lowered his helicopter and he told the troops to stop, the American troops to stop, or he would shoot on them. So he took that important action. There's Daniel Ellsberg, a former Marine and defense analyst who decided that the U.S. war in Vietnam needed to be exposed, and so he revealed the classified Pentagon paper. There's Chelsea Manning in the military who decided to reveal that in Iraq the U.S. was killing innocent civilians. He was court-martialed and jailed because of that, but he never relented. Aaron Watada in 2006 refused deployment in Iraq despite the threat of court-martialing. And there are many others. How about the 6 congressmen who recently declared that troops should not follow illegal orders? Trump said they should be executed, but they decided to stand up and are continuing to stand up ever since then. So then there are the Veterans for Peace, and there are the Iraq Veterans Against the War, now known as About Face, and we have people going to the schools, including veterans, to tell the students not to join the military. We're living under a corrupt and unjust system that Aaron Bushnell brought out. As the founding fathers of the U.S. said in writing, the aim was to build an American empire, and we're living under that American empire today. And we, like Aaron Bushnell, we should not cooperate with that American empire, and we should work for an anti-war government, for a government of peace and justice, a democratic government. It's good to see you all here today and see you out on the other occasions to continue this non-cooperation and building an alternative. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Our actual closing statement and prayer is going to be delivered by Sausan Abu Bakr, so we don't want to miss Sausan. But next, we have a Palestinian whose parentage also comes from Syria, but if you've ever been to Palestine, you haven't missed Nablus. So much activity, so much passion, so much sweet food, right? Sweets, famous for sweets. The sweetest activist up here is Aya al-Salibi. Please come let us hear your voice.
We are gathered here today to remember the life of a man, Aaron Bushnell, who sacrificed his life for the suffering of the Palestinian people. We honor this loss and reflect on the responsibility we all share to stand for justice and human dignity. I would now like to offer a short prayer. May God grant ease and relief to the people of Palestine, protect the innocent, the children, the mothers, the fathers, and the elderly. Be their protector for when they feel unprotected. Be their strength when they feel weak. Be their hope when they feel despair. Heal their wounded, grant your mercy to their martyrs, and give patience to those who grieve. Replace fear with safety, their hunger with provision, their sorrow with relief, and their hardship with lasting peace. Bring justice to the oppressed, and hold accountable those who oppress. Thank you.
Beautiful, Aya. Thank you. Now, I introduced a little bit of Chris Fogarty. He's an example of when getting involved in Palestinian issues will make people lie about you. But it's particularly painful when it's the offices of law enforcement who are supposed to be protecting us lying about us. Chris Fogarty.
Thank you very much. I think that Aaron Bushnell has been well memorialized today by everyone here, and that's why we're here. And we're here to try to end the genocide in Palestine. It shocks the conscience of the world what we are seeing, and we see a United States of America that is collapsing into something that none of us ever imagined. I served in this American Army, and at that time it was not too corrupt. It is beyond belief today. Our servicemen are going all over the world to destroy people, destroy property, and murder people for Zionism. All our wars are for Zionists. And we must bring an end to this. If we Americans fail to save the people of Palestine, and we know what's going on in Gaza, we will all become Amalek. We are doomed. Palantir and the Zionists will take us all down. We will all become Amalek if we do not act. So that's all I have to say. I've been preceded by some wonderful people who've spoken very well on this subject, and Aaron Bushnell is well commemorated today. Thank you all.
Little holy smokes. And then on that, we do have Sister Tahira Ahmed, who's a Muslim scholar, former chaplain at Northwestern University, who was wrongly terminated for supporting the student encampments. Like I said, it's a tough road, but she's with us.
Assalamu alaikum, greetings of peace everyone. I don't have a script for you. My most sincere thoughts are that as I am fasting today, I cannot thank God enough to allow for me to be with you to remember a martyr. There are those who will say, in Islam, it is not permitted to take your life in that manner. But we know that the act itself was not so that we could repeat the exact same act. It was so that it could ignite a fire in our hearts to extinguish the injustice that continues to persist till today. We are reminded that Aaron's name is the name of the brother of Moses, peace be upon him, Harun in the Quran. And Moses in the Quran goes up to the mountain, and when he comes back down, he makes a plea to God to help him. And God gives him his brother as support to go up to Pharaoh and stand against the evil of Pharaoh. I cannot help but think today that Aaron, may God have mercy on his soul, was a witness to us and a witness to those who claim to be the people of Moses, to stop being the pharaohs of our time. Let me repeat that. Aaron came to remind us that those who claim to be the people of Moses, stop being the pharaohs of our time. Stop being the pharaohs of our time. I've never had an opportunity to publicly do a prayer from the Quran for our brother Aaron, and for our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, and in all over the world, in Sudan, in the Congo, in Yemen. The prayer I'm about to share recognizes the Quran says that those who have passed in the way of faith are not dead. Verily they are alive. So please take a moment with me as we breathe through these verses and remember that he is still alive. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. May God have mercy on all of our martyrs. May God have mercy on all of our martyrs. May God have mercy on all of our martyrs. Amen.
And in closing, we welcome one of the planners of today's event, Sausan Abu Bakr, Palestinian activist and co-founder of Advocates for Justice. Thank you, Sausan.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I know everybody's freezing, so my paper's flying too. So, thank you, Rima. All right, today I stand here as a Palestinian to remember Aaron Bushnell, not to sensationalize the way he died, but to confront the moral anguish that led him there. Aaron was a human being who reached a breaking point. He believed he could not continue living in silence while Palestinians in Gaza were being bombed, starved, displaced, and erased. He believed complicity was unacceptable, and in an act that shook the world, he forced people to pay attention. Aaron's act came from a conscience that could no longer bear witness to the slaughter of innocent people while our voices were ignored, our protests ignored, and our pleas for justice were ignored. He wanted to send a message to leaders who place power and racism above the value of human life. He wanted to send a message to the world that every life matters, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of your race, regardless of your religion, or anything that makes you different. You have a right to your dignity, respect, and freedom, and no fascist leadership has a right to take that away from you. To truly honor Aaron, it is our responsibility to ensure that no one ever feels such an act, ultimate sacrifice, is the only way to be heard. Our responsibility is to organize, to demand accountability, to challenge systems of oppression, occupation, and violence, and to refuse to normalize genocide. And I want you guys to always remember Aaron's last words. My name is Aaron Bushnell. I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers is not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. May we honor Aaron's memory and every Palestinian life lost, not through despair, but through disciplined, relentless action for justice, accountability, and liberation. Just as those slaughtered in Gaza will not be forgotten, Aaron will never be forgotten. And as Aaron shouted with his final breath, "Free Palestine," so I ask you now, for the children under the rubble, for the families erased, for every life that matters and still matters, what do we demand?
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Down with the Zionist state of Israel!
Down with the Zionist state of Israel!
May you rest in peace, Aaron, and may your legacy live on, and we will continue to fight for justice.
Thank you, Sausan, and thank you all for being here for this commemoration of a death by self-sacrifice. It's important to pause and remember that this is 2 years since Aaron Bushnell took his own life to raise awareness about Palestine, and what we have to do about it is our lives. We couldn't have life without being born, and today being Joey's birthday, Let's celebrate the energy that we have through our birth and continued living with a birthday song of dedication to Joey. Sana helwe ya gamil, sana helwe ya gamil, sana helwe ya Joey, sana helwe ya gamil. Thank you.
America first or Israel first?
America first! America, baby!